Goodbyes are always bittersweet. Hey everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome to MsMojo. Today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 series finales that made us happy cry.
Thank you, Dad.
That doesn't mean we're looking at the saddest finales of all time. We're looking at the ones that made us well up with joy. Also, probably we should warn you, spoiler alert. All right, let's get to the list.
Everything's packed.
Wow. This is weird.
Number 10, Brave New World Part 2, Boy Meets World.
You're probably not gonna miss me at all, are you?
Not one bit.
When we first met Corey, Sean, Topanga, and the rest of the gang, they were a group of awkward middle schoolers getting into scrapes and having fun. But Boy Meets World followed them into adulthood, running for 7 seasons, and letting us grow up with them along the way. By the end of the series, our main characters are ready to move on from their lives in Philadelphia and make a big move to New York.
If there's one thing I've taught you is that there is a line between teacher and student that must never be crossed.
Tell us you love us.
The most important of their goodbyes comes when they bid farewell to Mr. Feeney, whom they ask for one last piece of advice before they go. When he tells them he loves them after they leave the classroom, get ready for the waterworks.
I love you all. Class dismissed.
Number 9, the Stockholm Syndrome, The Big Bang Theory.
Ready?
Hang on. Go.
It takes something special for a sitcom to run for 12 seasons. And while it may have been divisive, you can't argue the fact that The Big Bang Theory certainly had a serious fan base. And there is a lot going on in the series finale, with Howard and Bernadette leaving their kids for the first time in order to travel to Sweden for the Nobel Prize ceremony. Penny has found out she's pregnant and wants to keep it a secret from the rest of the gang, but obviously fails.
I'm pregnant, Sheldon.
You're right, I can't catch that.
There are as many mishaps as always, but the touching moment comes when Sheldon gets up to thank his friends for all the support they've given him over the years, showing a side of him we've rarely seen before.
I'd like to ask them to stand.
Number 8, My Finale Part 2, Scrubs.
And even though it felt warm and safe, I knew it had to end.
There aren't too many great medical comedies out there, but Scrubs paved the way, starting in the early aughts, for a hospital show that didn't have to take itself too seriously.
Let's face it, we said goodbye too early. I don't think I've got another hug in me.
Honest to God, I never thought I'd hear you say that.
How could I ever not want to hug you? Has the world gone mad?
Despite being lighthearted, there were still plenty of emotional moments, with the series finale giving us plenty to happy cry about. JD envisions his future, and we get to see what he sees. The flash forwards include marrying Elliot and her becoming pregnant, as well as a Christmas scene where we see many of our favorite characters reunite. Not only that, he also sees Sammy and Izzy getting engaged. And to make sure things don't get too serious, he falls over from the shock.
It's never good to live in the past too long. As for the future, thanks to Dan, it didn't seem so scary anymore.
Number 7, Chapter 100, Jane the Virgin.
When Jane Gloriana Villanueva was a much younger girl, she had to face the unthinkable.
What do you mean the telenovela's gonna end?
Well, they just revealed the last big secret.
The finale of Jane the Virgin features our romantic leads finally making things official. At Jane and Raphael's wedding, both are crying too much to get through their vows. So they simply swap papers and read them quietly to themselves and kiss before they were supposed to.
The first time we met, you told me to be brave.
We find out that Jane's son Mateo has been the narrator all along.
I practiced with great grandma. She said I would be great at voiceover work.
And for the record, I am.
And at the very end, Raphael asks Jane what happens at the end of her book, and she reveals that it's turned into a telenovela, giving a knowing wink to the audience.
So, I never asked you. What happens at the end of your book?
They make it into a telenovela.
Well, who'd want to watch that?
Number 6, Always, Friday Night Lights.
Dear Heavenly Father, keep us and protect us tonight.
Many have said that Coach Taylor and Tammy are one of the best and most realistic portrayals of a married couple on TV, and we get to tearfully marvel at them one last time in the series finale of Friday Night Lights. Coach is wrestling with a decision whether he'll continue his position on the team or follow Tammy to her new job in Philadelphia.
I turned the contract down. It's your turn. I want to go to Philadelphia.
Really, babe?
We get to see a montage of what happens 8 months afterwards, which includes a clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose sign being put up, and Eric trying to use the new phrase with his new team.
Clear eyes, full hearts. Yeah, we'll deal with that later.
Number 5, I Done, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Well, don't hide your emotions. Look, Carlton, I don't have no separation anxiety.
You might remember The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air for its oh-so-memorable theme song, or for Will Smith's fly fashion sense. But it's easy to forget how deeply this show struck an emotional chord at various points throughout the series. In the final episode, the Banks family, who took Will in at the very beginning, decide to leave Los Angeles for good and put their house on the market. While Will is unsure if he's actually made any progress since moving to California, the audience can clearly see that he has.
I love you, Uncle Phil, and I just don't want to lose you, any of you.
You're not gonna lose us. You are my son, Will. End of story. You just better be sure that your butt is by a phone on Sunday.
He opts to stay and finish his degree, so he has to say goodbye to his adoptive family. And the moment he has with Uncle Phil has us grabbing for the tissues.
Sunday.
Sundays.
Number 4, Engram Pattersky, New Girl.
Nick and I are moving out of the loft.
At first, fans are led to believe that the New Girl finale is about one thing, but with a clever twist, it becomes about something else entirely.
We got an eviction notice. They're kicking us out in 24 hours.
It seems as though the gang is being evicted from the loft where so many of the events of the show took place, but it's eventually revealed that the eviction is just a prank from Winston.
Engram Pattersky. If you rearrange those letters, what does it spell?
My greatest prank.
My greatest prank!
But they decide to leave anyway, even though they aren't being forced to. We see them play one last game of True American, Packing Edition, which morphs into a vision of the future, when they're all playing with their children. The ending is just so touching when they leave the loft for one last time.
You ready?
Yeah,
let's go.
Number 3, One Last Ride, Parks and Recreation.
You ready, babe?
Yes. I'm ready.
The 7th and final season of Parks and Rec does a time jump to the year 2017, which was actually the future back when the episode aired in 2015. In the final episode, however, we jump forward even further, showing how all of the characters' lives evolve all the way up to the year 2048. In the furthest flash forward, we see Mr. Gergich's funeral after he died at the age of 100.
He will now be given the Indiana Notary Society's highest honor, the 21 Stamp Salute.
Ben and Leslie are of course in attendance, and they're accompanied by Secret Service agents, which leads us to assume that most likely Leslie finally achieved her goal of becoming president.
They spelled his name wrong on the tombstone.
Close enough.
It's time to go.
Number 2, finale, The Office.
Imagine going back and watching a tape of your life. You could see yourself change and make mistakes and grow up.
Considering how beloved it is, there's pretty much no way The Office could have ended that wouldn't have left us in happy tears. After watching the hapless employees of the Dunder Mifflin Scranton branch for 9 seasons, it's safe to say we were emotionally attached to them.
I now pronounce you man und wife.
The finale is especially evocative, considering the show had already experienced a decline after losing its star Steve Carell. But in the final episode, he returns to act as Dwight's best man at his wedding to Angela.
Michael has so many pictures of his kids, he had to get 2 phones with 2 numbers, and he pays 2 bills. He's just so happy to have a family plan.
The rest of the employees reminisce about their time at the office and express how grateful they are to the film crew who documented it all for them.
There's a lot of beauty in ordinary things. Isn't that kind of the point?
I'm not big on crying, but most of these made me misty-eyed when I watched them. However, Our number 1 pick has literally been making me bawl since it originally aired. I don't know what to tell you. So let's run through some honorable mentions, and then we'll see if I can get through number 1 without crying.
So I'm going to use this word to describe how I feel about you in the way that our Anglo-Saxon forefathers would have used it in reference to, say, a hot bowl of bear meat, or your enemy's skull split.
I love you too, Jack.
You know what? I'm finally gonna give it to you.
Mom, you've given me everything I need.
Okay.
The new day brings new hope. Lives we've led, the lives we've yet to lead. New day, new ideas, a new you.
Actually, London, I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss you too.
Well, it's little me off to Billy.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, The Last One Part 2, Friends.
We got some time. Okay, should we get some coffee?
Sure. Where?
Friends has a purely happy ending, and yet it makes us cry harder than pretty much anything else. Ross and Rachel end up together.
No! No! Oh my God. Did she get off the plane? Did she get off the plane?
I got off the plane.
She got off the plane! Monica and Chandler find out they're actually going to become parents to twins at the very last moment.
Hey.
Hey. Hey, so what is the big surprise?
Joey gets Monica and Chandler a chicken and duck as a misguided housewarming gift, and they get stuck in the foosball table, which he's forced to destroy. But the devastating part is seeing the apartment empty when they're about to leave, and the panning shot that shows their keys left behind. Luckily, we can watch it over and over again, so it's never really done. By the way, 2020 will almost definitely bring at least 2 series finales that will make me happy cry. Schitt's Creek and The Good Place. So what about you guys? Which TV series finale made you happy cry the most? Let us know in the comments, or come tell me on Twitter or Instagram at Rebecca Brayton. Also, be sure to like and subscribe, and please watch this other video.